Let's make this reverse canvas sign, part 1. For this design, I used a 12-inch by 24-inch stretched canvas. Using a sharp box cutter or X-Acto knife on the back of the frame, very carefully cut along each side on the outside of the existing staples. This method is much easier than removing the staples, which will be hidden in the final product. Once you have cut away the canvas, set it aside and you should be able to easily pull away the remaining pieces of canvas from around the staples. Next, use a small screwdriver, pliers, or staple remover. Pick one corner and remove the staple from each side of the frame, holding that corner together. Pull the corner apart gently to dislodge the dovetail bracket, making sure that you aren't stressing the other corners of the frame. Once the corners apart, you should be able to remove the center bracket from the frame. You won't be needing it going forward. Now pull the corners back together, making sure to square up the frame before moving on to the next step. Still working on the back of the frame, grab a staple gun and put a staple into each corner to reinforce them. Flip the frame over and remove the staples from the front of the frame around the corners. Be careful that you don't dig in or gouge the wood, since this side of the frame will be visible. You can fill in the staple holes with a stainable wood filler, but I don't find that they're all that noticeable once it's finished. Now grab some 220 grit or higher sandpaper and lightly sand your frame to prepare it for the stain. If there are any rough areas, you'll want to sand more aggressively to make sure that it's smooth. Wipe down your wood with some water, denatured alcohol, or Crystalac surface cleaner to remove the sanding dust and any oils. Now we're ready to stain the frame. I'm using Crystalac Clear Gel Stain. It's a tintable, water-based single-step stain, and it's super easy to use. Using the Crystalac Color Boutique pigments, I make a half batch of the dark oak recipe, which is 1 tablespoon clear gel stain, 2 drops number 3, 8 drops number 6, and 16 drops number 7. Mix it well, and then apply it to the front and sides of your frame using a good quality brush. I really like using this gold Taklon brush from Plaid. On the inside of the frame, there are some cutout areas, like where the center bracket was. Make sure you stain inside these areas as well, which will allow them to totally blend in and become much less noticeable. Allow your first coat of stain to dry for 2 hours, then lightly sand any rough areas, clean your frame, and restain it with a second coat. I added a couple drops of number 7 into my second coat to slightly darken the color. Allow your second coat to dry at least 2 hours, and then you're ready to seal it. To seal my frame, I'm using Crystalac's Extreme Protection and Gloss Finish. You can also use Bright Tone or Crab Coat in any of the finish options. I apply it the same way I do the stain, using my Taklon brush to apply a thin, even layer to the front and sides of the frame. Allow 2 hours for your first coat to dry, and then repeat the process for a second coat. Now your frame is ready to go, and we're ready to move on to part 2.